Hi, I'm Tyson.
I'm Colin.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Adam. And we're the Gabe Smith, and we're here to learn to play Bipolar.
All right. So, Bipolar. This is a game. This game is an attempt to simulate the juggling act of life dealing with a bipolar disorder, the highs and lows, the manic and the depressed episodes. The main goal is to explain the bipolar disorder through triggers and symptoms, make it debatable, and break taboos. A short introduction to the game. You start with your deck of experience and trigger cards. You will draw from your hand, and you'll draw trigger cards that will activate symptoms, essentially, and give you negative points. And then experience cards that allow you to acquire health cards. Enough experience allows you to overcome a manic or depressive crisis, rewarded by cards that give you points later on. All acquired and played cards go into your discard pile, and then you're going to shuffle that back up again, so it's kind of a deck builder, or deck building kind of aspect to it, I'm not exactly sure. Some health cards allow you to get rid of nasty symptoms, and the player with the most positive score wins. So we have a few different cards. We have the start cards right here. So we have the start cards right here, which just are +1 experience, a start card on it. They're kind of filler that fill out your deck, plus the triggers, like sleeping problems, financial problems, stress.
Goodness gracious.
So there's 9 of those in your deck, as well as 7 of the start cards. So that's what each deck starts off with. Each card has the name up at the top. So this one's like frustration. It has a card type and symbol. So this is a trigger, and there's this little trigger symbol. And then it has any action, like if there's a symptom card in the lineup, put the symptom in your discard pile and remove this trigger from the game. And then there are experience points as well. This card doesn't have one, but this one does, so there's experience right there. And then if there's a cost to it, it's down in the bottom right here.
Okay.
So there are symptom cards, which are in this deck here, and are orange ones like less sleep. There are location cards. If I can find it. Oh, right there. Yep. Like home. We have location cards right there. There are journal cards, which are up here. And then there are crisis cards, which is right here. So the game goes, we've already set up, so everyone's shuffled together their deck, and we'll go ahead and replace one of these.
Oh, so Tyson's
With the
got a deck
symptom.
over there.
Yeah, so Tyson has his deck, I have my deck. Yeah, it's a 2-player game.
Okay.
I didn't spell that out, I probably should have.
This player goes first.
Yeah, so the oldest player goes first,
That's classy.
right? And you're going to
You're the youngest.
Bipolar disorder longer than the younger player.
you're going to start
Yeah.
right. You're going to start by drawing.
Good job.
You're going to start by drawing a hand of 5 and making sure that our lineup here is full of 4 cards. So if you have at least 1 trigger card and there are symptoms in the lineup, you take 1 symptom per trigger card. You remove the trigger cards from the game and add the acquired symptoms to your discard pile face up.
So act that out.
And then, and then you'll put the triggers that did not trigger a symptom this time on your discard pile. So essentially, I've got my opening hand here, and I have 2 triggers and then 3 of the start cards. And so my first trigger, or one of my triggers here will go with sleeping problems, appropriately, triggers the symptom of less sleep. It doesn't have to match. I think it just did this time.
Okay.
So what I would do is I would remove the trigger card from the game. So this guy's gone, out of my deck permanently. But then this guy, less sleep, goes in the deck. into my discard pile.
Okay.
Location cards may now be put in the play area. Let's see. If any, you cannot buy. If you have, okay, the location cards may now be put in your player area. If any, you cannot buy the same location card twice. So it's just like psychologist's office is a location. I'm assuming there's going to be more than one psychologist's office in the deck. You can only purchase one. Then if you have enough experience points, so if you buy, let's say, psychologist's office, it'll go in your deck, and then eventually you'll draw it. And then after you play out all your triggers for the turn, then you can place a location down. And so, like, if I had psychologist's office in my hand, I'd play the trigger, I'd take less sleep, and then I'd put down psychologist.
If there are no symptoms in the bank or whatever that market or whatever you'd call that.
So like so I had 2 triggers, but there was only 1 symptom in the market. So I will
Just hold on to it.
yeah, so it just goes into my discard pile and it's going to cycle through my deck again, essentially looking for another symptom. If you have enough experience points, so now I have these guys worth 3 experience. I can acquire health cards, journal cards, and crisis cards. I can acquire as many as I want as long as I have enough experience cards.
So that's the cost right there.
Right.
And then that's essentially 2 experience next time it comes.
Right.
Once it face up,
But,
like whatever the top of the deck, you can just see it and take it.
so
What? So these are these here. These are all just a deck of these. So these are like your standard cards. So journal cards are always available for 2 points.
Oh, okay. There's not multiple different
They're always
kinds.
2 points?
Okay.
Right. Yes.
Are these always 5 points?
Yeah. These are a little different. So, I'm sorry. Those are the crisis cards. So health cards are these guys right here, which include we have locations. Well, symptoms. You're not going to buy symptoms. Symptoms are
automatically.
right. They're
And there's no cost
acquired.
to 'em.
Right.
Okay.
But anything that's left, so you have the location cards, the therapy cards, I forget what they're called. The helper cards, so yeah, there's location cards, helper cards, and therapy cards, and symptom cards in here. So helpers are just, they're another thing. They kind of look like therapy cards. They're just like that. So you can buy either helper, therapy, or location cards with your experience. So I have 3, so I'm going to buy this one, which is +2 experience and draw a card. And I can get that. Or I can buy this one, +2 experience, or you may remove a card. You may remove a card from your hand.
So your currency is experience.
Yes.
And then what does the location do? You play it, it stays around every turn? It gives you ongoing experience?
I'm sorry, one more
or
time.
the
No.
location cards.
Oh, yeah.
Just
So
for
yes,
one
location. Yes. So like location, this card is permanently on the player field, +2 experience each turn.
Oh, great.
So they're like the big
Should
power-ups.
stay-
the most-
And there's only 6 of them in the deck in here. So there's
should
not
just
a lot
stay
of
at the
them.
therapist's office the whole time.
So I'm spending all 5 of my
You
experience on that.
right, you're taking that. That seems like a solid play.
If you want to, okay. Gotcha.
And then
Is there more currencies than experience so far? Or is that the
you start off with 8. You start off with 9 triggers and 7 experience in your opening deck.
And you start
And then
with-
pretty much
you have
everything
5
you buy
cards
from
each
there out
turn,
is going to
or-
give you experience.
Okay.
So the
So that's the main
sorry, what did you
currency.
ask?
What's your opening hand? 5?
Yes.
And you have to play all your cards each turn? Or do you discard them after each turn and draw a new hand? Or can you hold on to cards?
I'm assuming because of the symptom cards must be played, but that's an assumption.
Yeah, the symptom cards must be played. If crisis cards were required, put them aside. They score points. So, okay, so
Like if you have experience card in your hand, can you hold on to it for the next round, or do you have to play it?
you can hold on to it because it says you start your turn by filling up to 5.
Up to 5.
Right.
Okay.
Fill your hand up to your maximum hand size.
Mm.
So spend your thing. Yeah. So if you want to, you can say, you can hold on to it. The journal cards are a card that you can always buy. They cost 2 to buy, and they're either worth 2 experience, or you can sacrifice this card, meaning you'd remove this card from the game as well to remove another card.
So you can
with
get
it.
rid of a symptom.
Right. So you can get rid of a symptom by getting rid of this card. Or there's a supported card here for 3, which does the same thing, except you don't have to sacrifice the card. So these are like one use, remove a bad card from your deck kind of cards.
It's like writing in your journal.
Right? Getting it out there. And apparently setting that journal on fire.
Well, you only get one entry for the one problem.
Right, right. Now, if you have enough experience, okay. So then put all acquired cards in your discard pile. I'm sorry. Then crisis cards are just worth points at the end of the game. So you just kind of want to buy these to score points. So if you have 5 experience, you might want to slap it down on one of those to get 5 points for the end of the game.
Oh, they just occupy space. They don't do anything.
And you're trying
They're
to get
like
10
a-
points?
They don't occupy space. They're just out of your deck. You buy it, it's 5 points. You set it aside for,
doesn't
for
even
your
go into
score
your
You're just
towards
trying to
later.
get a maximum,
Oh.
Correct. So
however much you can get.
yeah, so we'll get there. Hold on. So when all crisis cards are gone, or so all this deck is empty, or this deck is empty, the game is over.
Okay.
Your end score is total of the points of crises overcome. So for every crisis essentially that you purchase, so essentially like if you have 5 experience, you can overcome a bad day, which is the first crisis. You know, once you've learned, you have enough experience to deal with your, you know, with a bad day. Then minus 5 points for each symptom card that's in your deck or hand. In case of a tie, both players win.
Oh.
It's because it's bipolar.
Right?
But I feel like they both lose because
If you are able to do well, that will
no.
everybody wins.
Getting healthy,
Right.
Everyone wants to get healthy.
but what if you have
If both
negative
people
points
get
because
equally healthy, everybody. Okay, I suppose if both players end tied with negative points, we can
Nobody
consider
wins.
that
Yeah.
as
Everyone
both
loses.
people losing. If that makes you feel better.
Yeah.
All right, so FAQ real quick. What happens if the
Couldn't make it through life.
yeah. What happens if the journal deck is empty? You keep playing. What happens if the health deck is empty? When the last card is drawn of the health deck, the game ends immediately. Do locations go in discard when acquired? Yes, they do, but once they are drawn from the story deck and put in the player area, they are permanent until the end of the game. Can you have the same location card twice? No, you can have a maximum of 3 different locations. So there are 6 locations, three locations, 2 copies of each for a total of 6 location cards in the deck.
Okay.
Each player can only
out
buy
at 3.
1 of each one. So, you
Can't go to
know,
2 therapists.
right.
That's called cheating.
Do helper cards stay in? Do helper cards stay
Yeah,
on the? Or wait, hold on.
Ask you to try that though.
What's special about helper cards? When you have a location in play, then you get 5 experience points. Otherwise, you get 2 experience points. And do helper cards stay on the player area? No, they are discarded after use, even if you have a location. So that's the basics of it. We're just kind of, you know, we're building our deck and trying to both improve our deck so we can generate more experience per turn and purchase these, you know, basically overcome these crises with our experience. So, you know, build yourself the best deck, try and buy these for the win, and get rid of all of your symptoms. So
But those go in your deck too, right?
these
When you buy them?
crises, no, they don't.
They just go on
They're
the
just
victory
points.
pile.
Yep, they just go to your victory pile. Yeah,
Okay.
for lack of a better word.
How again do you get rid of a symptom?
Journal cards that allow you to just remove cards in your
And
hand
then
from the
you
game.
buy it from the journal stack, and it goes into your deck.
It goes into your discard pile,
And then
you
when you
shuffle it
draw
up
it-
and you draw it, and then it says, sacrifice this card to remove a card from your hand from the game.
So you have.
So you would have to draw a symptom
it's just
and
a
the
burn
journal at
card.
the same time. Right. But you can play, if you don't draw the symptom, you can
It's
just play
still
the
2
journal for 2
experience.
points. Try again next time. There's also this therapy card that says 2 experience or remove a card from your hand.
Oh.
from the game. So then that will let you do it without burning this
So it's
card.
like a journal.
Right. So this is like a journal you can reuse.
It's one of the journals you go back and read.
Right. It's a support group. So yeah. So so the journals are like
Okay.
burn cards, and there's a limited amount of them. When they're gone, they're gone.
So you're trying to build experience to buy more cards. So you pretty
To
much just
ultimately
building
purchase
health.
these cards. Yeah.
You kind of start out sick and kind of, or I don't know what the right terms are for this, but
You start
just
off
have
with a lot of
certain-
triggers.
Yeah, you
with
have
a lot of
triggers
issues,
for being a bipolar
symptoms,
person.
triggers, and you're trying to build health and purge out all those symptoms.
Yeah.
Right. You're trying to
And
learn how to.
purchase. What are these called again?
Those are so you're not
Crisis
purchasing those. You're overcoming crises.
But what
So
is that called?
It's a crisis, yes. So
And
like you have a
that's
crisis like a
ultimately
bad day, and once you
the
have
victory
five,
point
right?
of the
Once you have 5 experience, you've learned to deal with your disorder enough to overcome a bad day.
Got it.
So you score 5 points, and then depression is 10 points. So eventually you learn to overcome
Adam,
depression.
drinking
and-
problem, take a
Right.
negative card.
So some of those are more expensive than 5. It's not.
Yeah,
just a deck
they
of
they're
fives.
they're in order. So it's 5, 5, 6, 6,
Oh.
8, 8, 10, 10,
got it.
12, 12, 14, 14, and the game's over.
But all the 2s are still 2s over there. The journals.
Yes, the journals are 2s all the way down.
Okay. Cool. I think I got it.
So those are the basics of the game. Haven't examined all the cards, but I think it should make sense as we play it out. No questions?
No,
Yeah, I
I'm
think
good.
you're
All
good.
right.
Well, thanks.
Awesome, thanks, and we'll see you in the gameplay.